have this evening in my part of the world a very what we say a very great menu on intellectual side. That first we have a Shehzad Ashraf Chaudhry. He is associate professor in Faculty of Engineering and Architecture in Istanbul, Gelisim University, Istanbul, Turkey. I have seen a lot more picture. I have heard a lot about this one. That is also a beautiful university. Just a brief about Dr. Shehzad. He received Master and PhD with distinction from International Islamic University, Islamabad, Pakistan in 2019 and 2016, respectively. He is currently working as an associate professor with the Department of Computer Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Architecture in Istanbul, Gelisim University. Before he has served International Islamic University and University of Sialkot, Pakistan. Dr. Shehzad completed his master and PhD in computer sciences with distinction, as I already mentioned. So he has a lot more scientific publications, scholarly contribution. I have almost 1.5 page. But what I am doing, I'm just reading the first paragraph, and just for saving the time, we can invite Dr. Shehzad Ashraf to come forward and tell us how he can help us with today's talk. Shehzad, all is for you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is, as Professor Mukhtar told, my name is Shehzad Ashraf. I'm working as associate professor in Istanbul Gelisim University. Today, we will share our experiences here about content writing in Turkey, and especially in Istanbul Gelisim University. The situation of pandemic, when pandemic started here, how Turkey responded and how Turkey's higher education council responded, how our university, Istanbul Gelisim University, responded, and what can be the way forward, what can be our what's the lesson learned through all this. So let me start from COVID-19 and Turkish response. As you people know, in Turkey, the first COVID case, it came somehow late. Like in China, it was early. In other countries, it was somehow early. In China, on March 11, the first COVID case, it was surfaced. And Turkish government responded very efficiently. On March 13, they announced closure of all education institutes. And after that, on March 16, they announced lockdown for all religious places, masajids, as well as tourisms, as well as all other places. Like what happened during lockdown on weekends, people used to go to beaches. They locked the beaches. The whole country was in a lockdown situation on March 16, and even during the holy month of Ramzan and during the Eid holidays, we did not pray in mosque. We prayed in our home. So they took this COVID-19 very seriously, and due to this seriousness, they curbed this COVID-19 very efficiently. They imposed curfew during weekends and other holidays from March 23. What I can say, the government response was excellent. Like initially, we were having 4,000 to 5,000 cases on daily basis, and after just within a span of around 1.5 months, that means from April 29, March 11 to April 29, from April 29, it was going to reduce very gradually, and on April 29, it was more than 90,000, and on April 29, on May 11, it was reduced to just 20,000. So the government response to COVID-19 was here in Turkey, it was excellent, and now there are no lockdowns. Just we are using our mask and other precautionary measures. That means using SOPs. We are doing all our activities. But as far as education institutes are concerned, education institutes are still closed. That means in summer we are also taking classes online. In last semester, yes, there were online classes, and now even it is predicted that the next semester, the fall 2020, it will also be online. At least the prediction is at least 40% courses will be online. Maybe if the situation gets better, 60% courses will be face to face. So we have to uh, we have to be online. We have to be we will do nothing. But surprisingly, what happens a week later on March 17, we got a email from our vice rector, and they sought suggestions for online lecturing, and they gave us three options, like you can record your lectures at home, you can use your office cabins, you can use TV studios. So we gave our options, but unfortunately uh, the other two options, like use of office cabins and use of TV studios within university, that was not feasible, because government banned everything. So even transport was banned. So there we left with only one option, that was recording lecture at home and then upload it. Uh, Turkish Higher Education Council, they started their uh, online classes from end of March, like 30th March, they started the classes. But my university, Istanbul Gelisim University, they started online classes very early on, even on March 23. Our response, IQ response to this pandemic, it was very excellent. So we started writing contents, PPTs, we created some simulations, we recorded lectures, and after then we uploaded those lectures on LMS systems. Yes, Istanbul Gulf University was having a very good learning management system. It was having a lot of functionalities. So but it was not having the functionality of online class. So we started this option, and we started our classes on March 23 in Istanbul Gulf University. We started classing using a customized method, because our LMS, it was not having a virtual classroom feature, although there were distance learning classes as well even before this pandemic. But that was just like delivery of lectures, that because it was not on a huge scale, many there were very less students and very less programs in distance learning. So they were using the method of uploading lectures, uploading assignments, uploading quizzes, and similarly all the materials. Similarly, they used the online evaluation methods. We started classes using customized method. When this started, I discussed with some of my students and some of my colleagues. We were having liberty from our university to do whatever we feel appropriate. So we discussed these things, and as far as my opinion is concerned, I was uh, more inclined towards interactive sessions instead of recording the lectures and uploading those. So we started interactive sessions using Google Classrooms, and there were then record those. Similarly, other people use Teams, Zoom, etc. Did those recording of the interactive just after we finishes the classes. So we were having was enhanced to incorporate the feature, and after approximately 1 month we started virtual classroom. It was quite nice, but there were Turkey is just translating again and again. So it was sometime it was awful using LMS. But finally, we completed the semester at end of June. So we did not waste it. You can say just we managed the whole loss. We did not wasted much time. We just wasted 2 weeks because of this pandemic. And it's not the situation of Istanbul Gelisim University. It's most of the universities in Turkey are like this. They completed their semester with a lag of like 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not more than that. And we took our final exams during first and second week of July 2020. So this was our response. So evaluation for evaluation purposes, the LMS was having facility of uploading assignments and quizzes, and online delivery and online submissions. So we could have we could have uploaded those assignments and quizzes, and with some deadline, and students submit those assignments and quizzes during that deadline. So it was, yes, we could not take quizzes online, like we give quiz and give them some time, for example 1 day or 2 day, and then took those quizzes. So because it was a new experience for everyone, even for me, I'm a computer science graduate, and even for me it was something very new, because we were not um, used to this online methods. So during midterm, we were having different options, like we were having options to prepare MCQs, or we were having options to upload some scanned paper, and students can submit their rote on paper, and submit the scanned copy of their answer sheets. So there were two different methods for midterms. However, most of the teachers, they took the first one, that means to prepare multiple choice questions. So it was like we prepared 40 questions, and randomly 20 out of 40 questions were assigned to each students. And because it was the new experiment, it was something very new, and it was an emergency situation. So it was decided uh, by Istanbul Gelisim University that every student should have 2 chances for login, so, during the whole midterm week. And yes, of course, it worked. No one complained about the online system. No one complained about the midterms, because they were having a huge time, 2 hours, but 2 logins. Maximum time is 2 hours, but they were having 2 logins. So most of the students in my courses, they got a high percentage of marks, like 70 to 90. It was the range for each students. Um, During this time, everyone get familiar with this online evaluation. So in final term, we just give 1 chance. That means student can log in only once, and it was the same, like you were having 20 random 20 questions assigned by LMS to each students out of those 40 questions. And after final term, we also gave some makeup exams for finals if some students got F grade, they can have a makeup. It was also permitted, but just for finals only. That means midterm was not having uh, any sort of makeups. So final was having makeups with some new questions. Um, so let's talk. Let's start towards content writing. What we did here. Let me describe first the content writing for ordinary or face-to-face subjects. These are some of the tasks which are performed during content writing. It's generalized. It's for online as well as for face-to-face teaching. So these are the important tasks. Like first one is analyzing the contents of the course in accordance with the requirements to fulfill the pedagogical goals of the programs. Then finalization of the course contents. I will go through it very fast because everyone knows it. Just to have a look on those. Approval of the final contents. Then selection of the writer and editor for development of the course contents. It's important. Then conducting workshops for content writers and the editors, and then preparing of the course content models. So these stages can also be enhanced. After pre-planning, we are having planning stage where the development team it should keep the following points in mind while planning for the content development: subject matter and the contents of the courses, aims and objectives of the courses, and most importantly, time required by the students for study and assessment. It should not be so low, and it should not be so high that a student could not cope with. It's like you can say if roughly if one credit course teaching course means the students should study approximately 3 hours, so this is it varies, but typically this is an average. So keeping in mind, we have to plan this stage: the intellectual level of the target audiences, then level of diversity of the content type required, then what are the assessment types and methods, and required number of credit hours. This is the planning stage. Then for authoring stage, the following tasks are to be done. First, authoring the contents, write PPT slides, notes, simulations, and other materials. Then collecting the related materials, like if you are taking master's classes, then manuscript from the authors and related things. Then sending the contents to content development team, then editing of the contents, and if there needs some copyright permissions, then obtain those copyright permissions. Then this is the final production stage. There are some important tasks to be done during the production of the contents, like style editing as per the design of the contents. First, proofread. It's very important. You have to proofread again and again. So after first proofread, team meeting to review the edited contents. Then if there are corrections, just do those corrections. Then second, checking for style and settings. Then second, proofreading stages, then corrections, and final check by the author and instructional designer. Then finally, printing and dissemination of these of the contents. So these are basically the same processes as in face-to-face learning. So what is important? The important is you have to give more attention to every task. It's very similar, as my experience is concerned. The content writing in case of online, it's very similar to to the existing face-to-face teaching, but you have to be very careful. You have to give more attention. You have to be very careful about typos, especially in evaluation tools, and comprehensiveness. Like you're lecturing, it's not, sometimes it's interactive sessions, and sometimes you upload the videos. So in any cases, if this is online teaching, your lecturing should be very comprehensive. You should try to answer the questions even not asked by students. So additionally, you can also use simulations for these purposes. Um, Evaluation, this is much important in case of online teaching, because there are two different things in evaluation. Mainly evaluation is different. First, this is open book. Even if it's undergraduate or postgraduate, in any case the evaluation is open book. So you have to prepare evaluation methods which are inconsistent with open book methodology. Number one. Number two, you should have some novel or somewhat novel questions. You cannot specifically use the book exercises. Now students are having the solutions of all those questions which are at end of the each chapter of those books. So you have to be careful about those questions. Copying web contents for exam assignments should be avoided. Um, what happened with in Gelisim University, the teacher, one of the students, he complained that my question is correct, but I have not got marks of this question. Um, when it was when we go deep into his issue, and we came to know that the teacher has copied some questions from web, and during copy paste, he he selected the wrong option for MCQs. So what happens finally? It was we have to give marks to students. So it also creates issues for teachers' integrity if we use these web contents, or if we use ready-made questions. So we have to be very careful, and we have to make those questions. Yes, we have to put a lot of efforts, and special attention should be given to typos. Typically, the author and proofreader, those should be not the same. And proofreader can be a computer program as well in many cases, like scientific numericals. If I share with you my experiences in midterm, out of those 40 questions which I submitted for final exam, for a midterm exam, three questions were having typos, were wrongly pasted. And what happened finally, when students solved those questions, then they complained. Then I have to give marks of those three questions to every student, because it was my fault. And what happened, even in a Word file where I first wrote all those questions, out of three, two questions were correct. That means during copy paste, I made mistakes. So for evaluation, you should be very careful and very attentive, and there must be some proofreader as well, like uh, using the first experience in final examination. What I did, I made some computer program for some of the numericals, for some of the algorithms. I made some computer program, and after checking uh, all those questions manually, then I used the computer program to verify all those. So it was double check, and in final exam, as far as my experience is concerned, no question was wrong. So this is all about my experiences for content writing. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Dr. Shehzad. So, I mean, we have a time for a few questions. If anyone want to ask question from Dr. Shehzad.
So this is Professor Ashraf from Bangladesh, IUT. So what about how did you evaluate your students about the laboratory experimentation things?
Yes,
This is
actually,
the real problem
yes,
we are
yes.
facing.
This is what you are 100% right. This is the biggest problem for laboratory. But here we were for my courses. These were master's courses, and there was no lab work. So we evaluated the students on the basis of uh, not on the basis of lab work. But yes, for lab work you can do something like in some of the programs, like when we are having some chemicals, there are some simulations available. You can perform those simulations. But for some of the program, like if I talk about computer engineering, we can our experiments are mainly based on computer programming. So even if we don't interact with each other, if students are not here, they can write the program and send it to submit it on LMS, and then we can run this program. We can verify. So as far as computer engineering is concerned, we don't have uh, any issues regarding these lab experiments. We can evaluate labs very easily. But yes, there are some of the programs where some chemicals are you have to do some hands-on experiments. There are some problems, and I hope these can be solved in near future, because we don't see this pandemic to go so early.
Yeah, you are correct. So we don't expect that it will go too early, and this is the real problem. And in our university, we have stopped and the online demonstration of the lab, rather than the simulation type lab we are now conducting. And then maybe we will wait until the end of this year. Then if possible, then we will do the experimental things. This is our plan.
I think this is the best plan. If you ask me, I think this is the best plan. Like if I talk about Turkey, we are planning that the fall semester it will be 60% will be the students or classes will be like face to face, and 40% will be online. This 60% it mainly involves those classes which are having hands-on experiments. So maybe, but we cannot confirm anything, because you cannot assure until the time came. When the time came, using the situation, it can be decided. Yes, now situation is quite better, and I hope some of the subjects which really requires those can be face to face. Those can be conducted face to face.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Assalamu alaikum. Actually, I have a question. I'm Muhammad Rakibul Islam from IUT, Bangladesh. Actually, you have told that the evaluation system actually can be of many types, like say, for example, the quiz, viva, or assignment, or explanation type of questions. So actually, how will we distribute the marks on which actually we will give more emphasis for the students? I mean, which will be better to judge the students? Can you please explain the
Yes,
distribution?
this is I think this is totally dependent on the course instructor. That means he has to decide which should be the better. Yes, there are different methods, and different methods are having different benefits. Like if we were having some options, like take this Viva, we can write question papers and we can upload, and students can write their answers on paper and scan and upload. This was the option. Other option was to take MCQs, and I preferred to take MCQs because for taking MCQs, yes, initially I had to work a lot because I have to solve all those questions by myself. 40 questions, and all questions are numerical. It was not like simple statements. But the benefit for instructor was, the instructor was free. That means instructor just uploaded those questions, and now instructor is free. He don't need to check the the answer sheets and something like that. That means we reduced our work. But it depends. Like in scientific subjects, like computer engineering, even mathematics, and other, you can have some sort of numericals. You can have some sort of algorithms. You can write those. You can have MCQs. But in social sciences, I think maybe this MCQs may not work. So you have to do something else. In languages and literature, yes, you have to do something else. You have to you want them to write something, you want them to translate something, and something like that. So as far as my opinion is concerned, it depends. It depends on subject as well as on the course instructor.